My name's Scott Moore. I'm the owner of Bellevue Fine Art Reproduction, and today we're going to talk about embellishing prints. Embellishing prints is the act of taking a print and drawing on it or painting on it or adding texture and things to it that make it somewhat of an original and add color, texture, or something to it to make it different.
Well, and that's why what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning I'll do another video of it done.
One of the most common questions we get is, can I embellish my print? The answer is yes, absolutely you can embellish your prints. There are many reasons to want to embellish a print. Everything from as simple as wanting to just put a signature on a print and number it, to adding glitter and gold and things that printers can't print, iridescent, fluorescent, and a number of other different things that simply won't come out of a printer naturally. You can embellish prints on both canvas and watercolor papers or rag papers, but they are a little bit different. So let's look at both of those. First, let's look at embellishing prints on canvas. If you're going to embellish your prints on canvas and you're going to be painting on top of the print, we do recommend that the print be sprayed very lightly with a UV coating, such as the Breathing Color UV gloss or the Breathing Color matte or another UV coating to protect the print while you're working on it a little bit. That coating is a clear coat, and it will protect the ink and allow you to get your hands on it and work your paint on top of it without worrying about damaging the print that's on the canvas. Whether you're embellishing a print where the original was either an acrylic or an oil paint, when you go to embellishing on top of the print, you really don't want to use oil paint. You're better off using acrylic paint. Another thing that you can do to finish paper prints is to decal the edges of the paper. Decaling the edges of watercolor paper makes it look like hand-pressed rag watercolor paper. You can do this by using a special decal edge ruler like this one that we bought at dualedgeripper.com, or you can make something with serrated edges to accomplish the same thing. Gold and silver, you really don't want to put a UV coating on top of them, because what you're going to be doing is muting the reflections that come off of those materials naturally. So if you are doing gold and silver, like in this piece here, you're going to want to do that at the very end and leave that exposed. There are two ways you can treat a rag paper or watercolor paper when embellishing. The first is to leave the paper exposed and just paint some highlights. This is great for adding strokes and extra color to a print and to give it a more unique feel. This can range from just adding color to adding glitter or metallic, as with canvas. With watercolor papers and photo papers, you can use just about anything. Pencils, Sharpies, pens, crayons, pastels. Really, the sky's the limit. When you're embellishing giclée prints on a watercolor paper or a rag paper, you can paint on top of it, and you can add watercolor strokes and you can add acrylic, but it doesn't behave exactly like a watercolor paper that you're used to. The difference is the giclée papers have a coating on them to take the ink out of the printer. And so if you're trying to do a watercolor wash, a long wash, what's going to happen is as soon as that pigment hits the paper, it's going to stick. And you can see that here. However, if you're doing controlled strokes and more dry brushing, or if you're adding glitter or gloss or things like that, it's very, very easy to work on top of, and you won't see much difference between that and a normal watercolor paper that you would just buy at an art store. Pastels are also a great candidate for giclée embellishment. You can take a pastel drawing like this or a pastel painting like this and lightly brush over it with actual pastels and add a little dab of color here and there, and when you pick it up and when you look at it, it really has a little bit more of the look and feel of a pastel. You get that little bit of chalkiness that comes with having some actual pastel laid on top of it in very selective area. There's really no end to what you can do to finish out your prints and create something unique. Your print can be coated, textured, overpainted, glittered, gold leafed, printed on metal, enameled to a skateboard. The possibilities are limitless. There's lots more that can be done, and certainly a lot of ground that we haven't covered, but that's a brief overview that should get you started.